If a bell can control a dog, can a phone control you? That sounds rude. But wait, imagine your phone makes one tiny sound. Ping. You're doing homework, eating cereal, brushing your teeth, or pretending to listen to someone explain something important. Then the sound happens. Your eyes move. Your hand moves. Your brain says maybe it is nothing. Your hand says too late. We are going in. That is a little suspicious. Not evil, just suspicious. Because more than 100 years ago, a scientist studied dogs and found something weird about learning. The dogs were not scrolling phones. That would be a terrible experiment, mostly because dogs are bad at passwords. They were doing something much simpler. Drooling. A lot. The scientist was Ivan Pavlov. Pavlov was not originally trying to become the famous dog bell guy. He was a serious scientist studying digestion. Very glamorous. Imagine spending your life asking, what exactly happens inside a body when lunch arrives? That was his thing. And he was good at it. So good that in 1904, Pavlov won a Nobel Prize for his work on digestion. Not for annoying dogs with bells. That came from the strange side door of the story. Pavlov noticed that dogs did not only drool when food touched their mouths, they started drooling before the food arrived. Sometimes they drooled when they saw the person who usually brought the food. Sometimes they drooled when they heard a signal that usually came before food. The dog was basically saying with its mouth, I know where this is going. That is the important part. The dog was not being dumb. The dog was predicting. At first, a sound is just a sound. A bell, a tone, a metronome, a little click. It means nothing. The dog hears it and thinks, in dog language, probably cool. Air did a noise. Then food arrives. The dog eats. The dog drools because food in the mouth naturally makes drool. That part does not need school. That part comes pre-installed. Now repeat it. Sound, food, sound, food, sound, food. After a while, the dog's brain builds a shortcut. Sound means food is coming. Then the sound happens by itself. No food yet, no bowl, no snack. Nothing delicious has appeared. But the dog drools anyway, because the signal has become a promise. That is classical conditioning. Fancy words, tiny idea. One thing keeps arriving before another thing, so the first thing starts to feel important. The brain connects them. Sound plus food becomes sound means food. And once that shortcut exists, the body may react before the animal has time to think. This is where people get mean to the dog. They say, ha, the dog was controlled by a bell. But honestly, the dog was doing a very useful brain job. If you live in the wild and one sound keeps coming before danger, you should learn that sound. If one smell keeps coming before food, you should learn that smell. If one shadow keeps coming before something with teeth jumps out of a bush, you should not wait for a written invitation. Learning shortcuts can keep you alive. The problem is that brains do not only learn important shortcuts, they also learn dumb little shortcuts. That is where we come in. Humans like to act very different from Pavlov's dogs. We wear shoes, we use forks. We have passwords that dogs cannot type. We say things like, I am making a rational decision, while opening the fridge for the 4th time to see if a new cake has appeared. Very advanced species. But our brains also learn signals. A school bell rings, and everyone starts moving before the teacher finishes the sentence. A microwave beeps, and someone appears in the kitchen like a tiny hungry ghost. An ice cream truck plays music, and children suddenly become outdoor animals. A dentist drill makes a sound, and your mouth gets scared before anything has touched it. You smell popcorn in a movie theater, and your stomach starts making business plans. None of that means you are a dog. It means your brain remembers what usually comes next. That is the shortcut machine doing shortcut machine things. Now look at your phone. A notification sound is not food, usually. If your phone gives you food, please tell me where you bought it. But a notification can predict something that matters. A message, a joke, a game reward, a new video, a like, a comment, someone saying your name, or absolutely nothing useful, like an app telling you it updated its privacy settings and now wants to become part of your family. Still, the sound gets your attention, because sometimes after that sound, something good appears. Not always. Sometimes. And sometimes is powerful. If every notification gave you the same boring thing, your brain might get tired of it. But when the phone says, maybe something interesting is here, your brain leans forward. Maybe it is a friend. Maybe it is a reward. Maybe it is a tiny red number that somehow feels like a small emergency wearing a hat. So the sound happens. Your hand moves. You check. And if something interesting appears, the shortcut gets a little stronger. Ping means maybe. Maybe means check. Check means maybe reward. Congratulations. Your phone has become a very expensive bell. Now, important warning. You are not exactly Pavlov's dog. Please do not start barking at your phone. Also, phone checking is not only classical conditioning. Human behavior is messier. There are habits, rewards, boredom, friends, games, fear of missing out, bright colors, tiny badges, and apps designed by people who very much want your thumb to keep moving. So this is not one simple dog trick. It is a whole circus. But the Pavlov part still helps us see the first little pull. A cue appears, your brain predicts, your body prepares, your hand moves, then your thinking brain arrives late and says, I was totally in charge. Sure, buddy, very convincing. This happens with more than phones. A cookie package crinkles, and a dog runs into the room. Also, a human runs into the room. The dog has paws, the human has excuses. A certain song starts, and you remember a summer. A certain smell appears. And suddenly your grandmother's kitchen opens inside your head. You see a logo, and your mouth remembers fries. You hear your own name from across the room, and your attention turns like it has been yanked by a string. Signals pull us, because signals predict things. Food, safety, friends, trouble, love, embarrassment, something new. The brain is always asking the same small question, what comes next? That question is useful. If a baby cries, adults turn toward it. If smoke appears, people look for fire. If a car horn blasts, your body jumps before you calmly review traffic laws. Fast prediction is not weakness. It is one reason bodies survive. But sometimes the shortcut is not protecting you. Sometimes it is just dragging you. Like when a phone sound pulls you away from a game you were playing with your friend, or a homework page, or dinner, or sleep, or a thought that was almost good before a tiny rectangle shouted, "Look at me." That is the creepy part. The sound is tiny. The pull can be huge. But humans have one big advantage over Pavlov's dogs. We can notice the bell. Not always, but sometimes. You can hear the ping and say, wait, that is the bell. You can turn off the sound. You can move the phone across the room. You can remove the red badges. You can put boring apps in a boring folder with a boring name like tax papers. You can make the cue weaker. Or you can build a better shortcut. Shoes near the door means walk. A book on the pillow means read. A glass of water on the desk means drink before your brain becomes a raisin. The same learning machine that gets pulled by a phone can also help you. Brains do not only learn traps, they learn paths. That is why Pavlov's dog is not just a story about being controlled. It is a story about prediction. The dog heard a signal and prepared for what usually came next. You hear signals all day and prepare too. Some signals help, some signals annoy. Some signals are wearing a tiny notification badge and pretending to be important. So are we dogs? No. Dogs are dogs. Humans are humans. Dogs smell a sock and read a whole newspaper. Humans smell a sock and make a face like civilization has failed. We are different, very different. But deep inside, our brains share one old trick. They connect things. They learn what predicts food, danger, comfort, attention, and love. They build shortcuts before we even ask them to. And sometimes, those shortcuts walk us around like a leash. So the next time your phone pings and your hand starts moving, do not panic. You are not broken. You are not a dog. But you may want to ask one very small question. Who is holding the bell?